Hi, this is Christine Hartman, and I'm speaking on behalf of the entire Diamond Project team. Going to give you a little update on where we stand with the Diamond Project in preparation for our Strategic Advisory Board meeting. So, as you may remember, our project called Diamond is about reducing the use of antipsychotic medication for residents who live in the VA nursing home system called the Community Living Centers, or CLCs. And we hope to help staff reduce the use of antipsychotic medication when working with residents who have what can be called behavioral and psychological symptoms of dementia. So our study focuses on things that are evidenced in our conceptual framework, and that focuses on unlearning and substitution. And we are also examining the state of antipsychotic prescribing through a database analysis. Our main components are academic detailing and a tool that's online called the WeCare Advisor tool, which helps staff come up with and implement and strategize about solutions that don't involve antipsychotic medication, but rather behavioral interventions to assist residents with their distress and the behaviors. And we do all this through facilitation done here through our team. We are collecting data through surveys and interviews. And as I said, we're also doing a database analysis. So in terms of where we are on the sites themselves, we have one site that has actually finished the 6-month program, and we have 2 sites that are ongoing, and we have 2 that are preparing to start, so 5 in total at the moment. And in terms of the participants, and give you a little bit more information from qualitative data that we have collected. And the qualitative data, this is preliminary, and we collected data by doing interviews with staff at participating sites. So we have, I think, data from 2 sites at the moment. So preliminary data, but they are falling into particular themes, and one has to do with staff culture and the staff perception that some staff prefer to use the medication rather than the behavioral intervention when addressing these behaviors from the residents. And I'm just going to read you a couple of substantiating quotes from this. One is, I think that it would be very fair to say that the nurses are either apathetic or overwhelmed. They either felt like the behavioral approaches would not be helpful, or the attitude was, oh my goodness, I have so much to do, and now you're just going to give me one more thing to do. Wouldn't it be simpler or more effective to just give somebody a pill? So that's one quote. And the other is, instead of just talking to them and getting them distracted, they'd holler. So they is the staff in this case. The staff would holler, why can't you just give him something to settle him down? So this is speaking to that tension. And along with that, we are also terrific for our project finding that when staff are using the WeCare Advisor tool techniques, they are experiencing some positive outcomes. So I'm going to read you 2 quotes about that. Through conversations with my manager, when something really good happens, like if there's someone who typically has required medication management, if some of the techniques or interventions used in the WeCare program are used and are successful, he'll share it with me, really excited. Hey, we did this and we did that. So now look at so-and-so's chart. So they are seeing some positive experiencing some positive outcomes. And here's a second quote. I really do think they've been very effective. I've been very pleased with some of the changes I've seen. I think it's about 40 to 50% of the time the staff have been able to redirect some of those behaviors and done really well with that. So our lessons that we are learning from this project so far, concentrating a majority on the findings from the qualitative interviews at the moment, are grouping into unlearning and substitution as per our conceptual framework, which really had unlearning as the academic detailing piece and substitution as the WeCare Advisor tool piece. Now, in terms of the unlearning, academic detailing, though one of the main tools, we don't have data on that yet. So the data are forthcoming. So stay tuned for more information on that. But from what we're hearing in the qualitative interviews, the staff culture at some of the sites can be challenging for de-implementing these antipsychotics, and some of the structures and processes of care at these sites. Staff report talking about staffing issues and feeling as though their CLC is under resourced, and that can make it difficult for them to feel like they have the time for change. In terms of the substitution, so the We Care Advisor tool itself, the success stories that I just talked about are encouraging. We do know that on the back end, the data we are able to observe how often the sites are using the We Care Advisor tool, and the back end data show us that they aren't actually using the We Care Advisor tool that often. But this may mask some additional use from printed out copies, because the We Care Advisor tool generates a prescription, sorry, and the prescription we find they often print out. So they may be using that printout much more than they are using the online tool. So we are trying to get our a handle on how to get a better sense of those, what is really happening at the sites. The site champions do report that night staff at the CLCs are less enthused by the tool. That may be something that we could have predicted would be the case. And sustaining interest in doing the Diamond Project is, for us, because we're facilitating from a distance and purely facilitating from a distance, it has presented its own challenges for us. A remote facilitation is, as you may know or imagine, not as easy as when one is at the site, but academic detailing may provide some answers to this, because academic detailers are able to interact with providers on a one-to-one basis, often face-to-face. So I'll end here. We just wanted to give you a brief overview, and in preparation for the meeting, I'd like to ask you to think about what I just presented in terms of a question that we will ask you at the beginning of the meeting, which is, what is new in your world that you'd like to share with us? And so particularly for the Diamond Project, what is new in your world that pertains to Diamond, or that what I just presented made you think about? So we're really looking forward to talking with you at the meeting. Really, you've been such an engaged group, and we're really looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you then.